Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's I, your reluctant gringo, back again for another episode of Late Night with the Gringo. This is our 16th episode, and I'll start off by apologizing at first. Normally I do this nightly, and, I missed Monday and Tuesday, and then I got on Wednesday, let you know I was under the weather, thought I had the flu or something like that. I don't know, right? And I'm like, the hell with it. I'm fine. I feel great. And then my body said, no, you don't. So Thursday I don't really remember Thursday. I was just like, it was just a fever dream. And hey, it's either what's normally wrong with me or it's what happens when you eat at a brand new taco stand on the street, or you eat the wrong thing. That can happen down here south of the border quite a bit. They say don't drink the water. You got to be careful about a lot of different things. But I'm back. It's Friday night. I hope everybody's having a really good Friday. I'm having an awesome Friday. I just spoke to my son. I just spoke to both my sons, but one of them's getting ready in about a week to come and visit for Christmas. And I can't wait for that. And then the other one is getting ready to leave university for good. He has graduated. It's awesome. So as a father, it's just like the best feeling. My wife keeps asking me, how do you feel? How do you feel? And this is like, there's like 10 million different emotions you feel. And it's like, I can't narrow it down to just one. But in a couple hours or a few hours, he'll head to the airport and he'll fly out of the continent of Europe and fly here to me. And he'll be here with me and we'll figure out life from there. And he'll be on a bunch of live streams with me because I love having him on. And we play video games and you can watch him kick my ass in pretty much any video game and watch me lose my mind. So it's just, it's a pretty, it's just a fabulous day. If you're a dad or a parent, you kind of know what that feels like. You probably get it. So, so south of the border is a pretty celebratory place right now. And again, pardon my voice. I'm still getting over whatever I was getting over. We're going to talk about RFK later and pharmacy and all that, because I got some things to say about that. Pharmacy down here, pharmacy, the differences in the actual similarities between medicine, because people, the American medical system and doctors and insurance, it's different, and Mexico's socialized medicine, it's not what you think, folks. And definitely have a lot to say about that. Going through what I go through, seeing what my father went through. A lot of goods, a lot of bads. But first things first, let's have some fun. Let's have some pop culture funnies. We like to talk about pop culture. We like to talk about politics. We like to talk about living south of the border as well, and what all those are like. It's fun. I love talking about pop culture with people back in the United States because it's hard to do that here because everything's in Spanish. They have comic book stores here. They have really nice comic book stores here. Nice bookstores, comic book stores. Everything's in Spanish. I walk in, I see these places, they got the toys and the comics and everything, and I get all excited. Oh, let me go in. And I'm like, oh, there's a new anthology of, I don't know, Green Lantern. And I'm like, well, I can't read that because I pick it up and everything's in Spanish. So it's tough. And I don't want to buy digital comic books. I'm one of those people that needs the comic book, whatever it might be, in my hand. I like it in my hand. I got a lot of books. I have a lot of books on my iPad because of my academic career. It was just easier that way. Easy, because the download and go find these things and buy these things. But I definitely prefer a hard copy of a book in my hand. And so, c'est la vie. The way it is. But I got really excited. We're going to share my screen here again. Give me a second to get this up and rolling. There we go. Boom. Oh, there he is in all his glory. If you don't know who that is, that's Clayface. He is a Batman villain. He's one of my favorite Batman villains. He's actually one of the first Batman villains comics that I ever read. There was a whole series of Clayface. It was the wasn't Matt Hagen, and it wasn't Basil Carlos. One after that, I can't. Bryce. I'll get the name in a second. There's been multiple Clayfaces, but Clayface is just, if you know the animated series, then you know Clayface. He's just an awesome villain. Great backstory. Created by Bill Finger, same guy who did the Joker. Same guy who created the Joker, along with one other artist. Bill Finger, people, Bob Kane, to talk about Batman, Bob Kane. Bill Finger needs to get a lot more credit for all the villains he's created, because I've done a lot of comic book recaps on the channel, and you can see them on the playlist, Welcome to the Comicverse. A lot of those are created, a lot of these DC Batman villains have been created by Bill Finger. He had a heavy hand in the Joker, of course, as well as Bob Kane and one other person. Excuse me, as always, I need my coffee. What can I say? Gen X getting old. So I'm really excited. So the surprise Clayface movie already has a release date. We're looking at 2026. I'm going to get the exact date here for you in a second. Let's see here. Yeah. The most surprising is Clayface, the Mike Flanagan scripted film based on the Batman villain we didn't know existed until days ago. They didn't know the script or the film was going to exist until days ago. They kept this really hush-hush. Now that's now coming September 11th, 2026. Make it always way. DC also dated Dynamic Duo. Here's a really cool thing. Dynamic Duo, the animated Robin movie that was revealed a few weeks back, that'll also be out on June 30th, 2028. A totally real date, apparently. So they're gonna have to wait a while for that one. Now that Robin, Dynamic Duo, there's got a Robin movie coming out. I guess it's the story of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd together and how they relate and whatnot. I think there's a lot you can do. I'm just a little nervous that the writers of that movie are going to be the writers of Coco, which wasn't that bad, but also Lightyear, which was. So hopefully they do that justice. Hopefully they do those characters justice. I mean, Dick Grayson, everybody's got a favorite Robin, right? Jason Todd, people didn't seem to like him that much. That's why they killed him off, or they voted to kill him off. But now he's got a resurgence. I'm a Tim Drake guy. I've always respected Dick Grayson as a character and Jason Todd as characters, and their story arcs. I mean, especially Jason Todd's story arc from Robin to the Red Hood, and Dick Grayson to Nightwing. But I've always been a Tim Drake guy. But everybody's got a favorite Robin who's a Batman fan. So that'll be exciting. But like I said, the big news is Clayface. Not sure what Clayface. There's a little information going in here about what it is. James Gunn, the co-president of DC Studios, announced on social that Clayface had been greenlit and is officially part of the DCU. There's no word on who'll direct, but Flanagan is not likely to be available. He's got his own movie, The New Take on The Exorcist, coming March 13, 2026. Ew. Ugh, really? They're going to try and remake The Exorcist. Oh, that's right. It was a Blumhouse or A24. The last Exorcist movie that came out that was absolutely terrible. Came out not this year, but a year ago. Absolutely terrible. With the two little girls and whatnot. Just total woke agenda. And a total racial backtones to it. It's just terrible, right? I think when you're dealing with religion or God, you try, you're dealing with universal themes of good versus evil. You try to keep, I don't think it should matter what the color of your skin is. God loves you, if that's your thing. Anyways, let's not get into the religious thing. But The Exorcist, probably the greatest, if not, in my opinion, if you ask me what's the greatest horror movie of all time, I'm going to tell you The Exorcist. I know a lot of people will argue that, but I'll tell you that that's mine for me. To remake that's like, I mean, they tried remaking Psycho once, didn't go very well. I mean, it's like saying I'm going to remake Citizen Kane. It's just not going to go well. It's just, I don't know. I'll give it I'll wait and see. I mean, March 13th is around my birthday, so I guess that's my birthday movie. Hopefully it's good. So yeah, not much. Like I said, there's a bunch of different Clayfaces out there. And let me get to this article here. Same thing, confirmed. Yeah, a bunch of different Clayfaces. There's the original Clayface, which if you watch the Batman animated series, The Cape Crusader on Amazon, which, again, I wasn't a huge fan of. Storyline-wise, I felt Batman was a minor character in his own series. They did treat Basil Carlo, the original Clayface, from, I have the cover, actually. Let's see if I get the cover here. I do have the cover here. That's a panel from the cover. That's Matt Hagen. Here we go. That's the original Detective Comics number 40. So back in the day, from probably the 40s. I'll get a year on that in a minute. But that's the original. You can see Basil Carlo here. He was, he's an actor, Clayface. He can switch, mold his forms, whatever. So he was the original Clayface, and they treated that really well. They actually did that story very well. Actually, one of the things I did like about the Cape Crusader on Amazon was they did treat that backstory to Basil Carlo and that character. I thought they did that justice, and they were really fair with that and didn't kind of meddle with that one as much as they could have. So you've got that, but then you've got Matt Hagen, which is probably, and this is him right here, this is his first appearance, and this is Detective Comics number 298 from December of 298. I think that's from like 71. I could be mistaken. But that's Matt Hagen, who's the second Clayface. But that's more the Clayface that we know from the animated series. It's the one they kind of melded off and the one you kind of know and enjoy. Just to give you an idea how old. This is the first Basil Carlo. That's what Clayface looked like. This is the last page of that 1940s comic book with Clayface. And I'm going to do a recap on Clayface, I think, for my next comic book story arc after Christmas, or maybe I'll do it before. Maybe a Christmas Clayface comic. Who knows? But here you go. And you can see, if you look at these panels, and like I said, if you did watch that Cape Crusader, you can see that it's, oh, wow, it's very similar style, all that. And so they really did a good job with that one, with that story episode, the story arc. So, but then there's Lady Clayface that came out in like the 80s, another couple of, there's like 7 or 8 Clayfaces, and that, depending on what universe you're in, what storyline you're in, what run you're in. But for me, there's always the first two. There's Basil Carlo and there's Matt Hagen. Those are the two that I think really are what the character's all about and the character that they should go with. And I think if they do that and they want it to be a horror, thriller, tragedy, and Matt Reeves is behind it, or at least kind of has a hand in it, along with James Gunn, I think they could really do a great job with this character. I think you look at what they did with the Penguin on a series, limited series, which again, for me, we'll talk about series, and I'm trying to compile my list of the best of 2024, and either the Penguin or Shogun are the best series of the television series of the year for me. But again, we're not there yet, and I won't have that video ready for at least another week. But definitely, I think they could do a really good job if they focus on the character, focus on a good storyline. Maybe not even make it Batman. Keep Batman out of it. Make it what it is, like a horror story, Frankenstein's monster kind of Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing, something like that. I think keeping the Batman out of the Penguin series was one of the better things they could have done, because it let them focus and forced them to focus on character arc, character development, narrative development. They made them figure out, okay, these are human figures, and what can we do to make them seem more human? And how can we make them relatable? How can we, throw in a few gut punches here and there? And I think that's a great formula for that. If you saw my Creature Commando review, I'm not too pleased about the beginning of the DCU under James Gunn. Not a huge fan so far. I'll have to watch episode 3, but still not a huge fan with the political overtones and the agenda overtones. I just, at this point, again, right, left, center, I don't care. I just want to be entertained. I'm done. We've had so much politics already and so much infighting. We just be entertained. Are you not? Just leave it out of it. We all know where you lie. We don't need to know it. So I'm very, very excited. I'm keeping a watchful eye on this. Definitely will be my movie to see in 2026 right now as it stands. So very excited. Let's see. I think that's what I had for. I think those are all the articles. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is Mr. Flanagan, the writer. Not going to direct it, but will write it. Okay, cool. While Matt Reeves produces. Okay, cool. Again, there's not much else given other than they've announced a date. They've announced that they're going to do it. I read through about 5 or 6 different articles, and there really wasn't, there's no, Basil Carlo, again, for the B-list actor who goes insane, right? So hopefully they're leading, that they've dropped that name a couple times. Hopefully they're leading to that. Again, I think that would be great. But we'll find out. And let me see if I have it pulled up here. I don't think I do. No, I had the disambiguations of all that up and running. So, but there it is. Batman. We're going to have a new Batman movie. We're going to have a new villain movie. It's going to be connected to the DCU. It's not going to be an Elseworld, I guess, or it's going to be part of the DC. It's going to be canon. And I think I've been waiting to see a new villain. I mean, you get the same villains repeated. There's the Riddler again. There's the Joker again. There's the Penguin. I mean, as great as the Penguin was, it's the Penguin again, right? We've seen these Catwoman. It's like the same 4 villains you get from the 1960s TV show, right? I've been saying Clayface is a villain that no one's ever really wanted to touch. No one's really been able to do it the right way, so they've shied away, which is fine. If you can't do it the right way, then don't do it. I think they're gonna have. I'm excited. I'm really excited, really excited about this. But with that, more entertainment news. Oh, first, this was fun. This was fun. It has nothing to do with entertainment, but this is fun. Social media erupts as kids correct Jill Biden's happy holidays. You know the whole thing. Like I used to work retail, and it came down to thing like I forgot what year it was, 15 years ago. Don't say Merry Christmas, say Happy Holidays, because not everybody celebrates Christmas. And I'm like, well, fucking, this is a primarily Christian country founded on a Christian values, and Christmas is the holiday that we're going to celebrate. Nothing against Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. When it's Hanukkah, I'll tell you Happy Hanukkah, but it's not the dominant holiday, and I don't celebrate those. So I'm going to wish people the holiday that I know how to celebrate. Anyway, so it was a big thing. You're not supposed to say this. You're not supposed to say that. It could offend somebody. If saying Merry Christmas to you, if someone says Merry Christmas to you and it offends you, you're an asshole. That's plain. You're just an asshole. So, but Jill Biden comes out, bunch of kids, and she tried the whole politically correct Happy Holidays. Multiple children shouted back at the First Lady with emphasis, Happy Christmas. Go screw Jill Biden. Go screw. Go find your husband. He's lost somewhere. That's probably why she was doing the address. They can't find him. He's wandering around, probably lost inside the Lincoln bedroom. Anyways, that's awesome. When kids are awesome because they have no filters and they just don't care about the stuff that, the modern message wants them to care about. They just like, listen, we're kids. It's Christmas. We want to say Merry Christmas. I say Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas. So people in England, they say Happy Christmas. I met people from England. They say Happy Christmas. I'm like, that's the first time I ever heard the happy. Okay, Merry, happy, I guess. All right. Whatever you want to call it. But anyways, I thought that was fun. Go screw those. Let's trim these out here. I love it when kids tell adults to just get a life. Friggin', it's great. It's just one of the reminders. All right. Oh, and more fun. So listen, and I chose this article to talk about for a second. For 2 years, you have a lot of YouTube channels, a lot that I respect, a lot of YouTube channels that I respect, but they always start running, and some I don't respect, all right, that are just really just want to put in clickbait and everything like that and make up headlines as, that aren't true just to get you to click on it. You know who you are. Number that comes before 1. Anyways, they always have these videos. Kathleen Kennedy getting fired today. Kathleen Kennedy in trouble. Kathleen Kennedy this. Kathleen Kennedy that. Listen, folks, Kathleen Kennedy ain't going nowhere. Stop clicking on it. If you see a video that says Kathleen Kennedy's getting fired, obviously she's not, because Kathleen Kennedy is to be honored with the ASC's Board of Governors Award. She's not going anywhere. They're giving her awards like this. The Oscar-nominated producer and current president of Lucasfilm will be honored for her extraordinary career, which has captivated audiences and made her a true trailblazer in the film industry, says the organization. She's not going anywhere. She's got either dirt on people or her contract. Her lawyers are really good that got her that contract where she can't be fired. Set to be honored. With next organization announced Wednesday, take place February 23rd at the 39th Annual ASC Outstanding Achievement Awards Gala at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills. The ceremony will be streamed live worldwide. So, to all these videos that keep popping up that she's getting fired, she should be. I mean, no offense. I mean, you lose that much. You run an IP. I mean, Star Wars is a money printing press. That's all. You got to do it right. It's a money printing press. You do it right, you print billions for years to come. Or you decide that you hate it because it's a boy brand. You hate it because it represents male. You hate it because it didn't include you, or you didn't see yourself included because it did include you. You hate it because it doesn't have your modern message. You hate it for whatever myriad of reasons. Put a chick in it, make it fucking lame and gay. South Park got it right. It doesn't have all that crap in it. So I say, okay, I'm not going to make something original. I'm going to take this one and run it into the ground and destroy it. So instead of building something, you destroy it. And she destroyed it. And not only she destroyed that, she destroyed Indiana Jones. She destroyed Indiana Jones so much that I'm having trouble pulling the trigger on buying the money to buy the video game just so I could review it. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I've not watched one review on that thing. I don't even know how well it's doing. I mean, it's sort of like under the radar. I'll check that out later on this weekend, but I just haven't done a lot of video game work. Actually, what I've been doing is when I've been putting out video games, I've been streaming Infamous, which is an old PS2, PS3, PS4, something like that title. Playing that. Anyways, so she's not going anywhere. I mean, you look at her filmography, whether you like it or you don't like it, and sure enough, I think I don't like it because I'm sure Steven Spielberg did most of the heavy lifting here. Jurassic Park, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, The Sixth Sense, the Back to the Future trilogy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which great. If you, by the way, there are some people out there who have no idea what Who Framed Roger Rabbit is. Go see it. You'll love it. You'll thank me. And again, maybe a future retro movie review. By the way, I had a comment in my last retro movie review, and I love feedback that's constructive. So I don't have your name, but thank you very much to whoever wrote the comment that you want more recap you want more review instead of recap, because I do a lot of recapping what the film is because it's an older film. People might know what it is. So yeah, I'll take that to heart. Thank you very much. I love the feedback, and what you like, what you don't like. Gremlins, The Goonies, Poltergeist, Lincoln, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Schindler's List, and The Adventures of Tintin. All right. I don't know about The Adventures of Tintin. Never seen Curious Case of Benjamin Buttons. I don't really care. Schindler's List, Poltergeist, Link. I mean, these are. I mean, that's just a list of films you can't deny right there. I mean, so she's not going anywhere unless she does something stupid. Unless she just walks up and grabs Bob Iger's crotch, or something like that. Something totally frigged up. But she's so, it is what it is, folks. We're going to deal with Kathleen Kennedy for a while, at least until, as she says, she wants to retire after she's had a success, a big success. What that is, it's not Skeleton Crew, that's for sure. I fell asleep watching episode 3, again, kid show. All right. But let's get to the box office. Speaking of movies, if you saw my live stream on Wednesday, you saw that I just gotten out of Kraven the Hunter, and not as bad as Madam Web, not as bad as Morbius, not good either. I mean, it had pockets, pieces, snippets of good. It probably, if it was worse, at least you could make memes out of it, but it's not even that bad. It's a mess of a film. It's a mess of a film, and it tries to do a lot, but doesn't do anything very, very good, except a couple of chase scenes, action scenes, which were really, really good, which is a shame because Aaron Taylor Johnson's a pretty decent actor. He's not Kraven the Hunter. He just doesn't pull off that aura. I didn't get that aura for him. But it's going to only make about $12 million this weekend. That's it. And that's the end of the Spider-Verse. The Sony Spider-Man universe is done now. They've said no more Spider-Man universe. That's it. It's over. We're not going to do any more of that. And we'll see what happens going forward. Maybe do these villains move over to Marvel? Do they get them? Do they buy them? How does it work? I'm not sure. There's a lot of legalities in there. Now, a lot of times they make these movies so they can keep their rights. Like, the rights to owning these characters are contingent upon them using those characters in, intellectual properties. So they might have just said, let's make a Kraven the Hunter movie so we don't lose certain, intellectual property rights. That could have been the reason why, but then again, you had so many villains. You had Russell Crowe as Kraven's father, as the villain. You had Rhino as a villain, and it was just so poorly done. So cartoonish. You had Chameleon. All right. And I don't care if I'm spoiling anything, because no one's going to go see this movie anyways. You had Foreigner, which is totally not the character in the comic books, but okay. And he was stupid. It's just why even have him in the film? So, I realized what my problem is. You know what my problem is? I'm old. Oh, here we go. I know. My wife's probably like, why aren't you wearing them? Aha. There we go. All right, probably doesn't look that good. But anyways. Now I can see. I can read. I can read. It's going to have a lower box office opening weekend than Madam Web. Oh, wow. Notably, Madam Web made $25.8 million during its 6-day opening and went on to accumulate $100 million at the global box office against a $100 million gross budget. That's not including marketing, folks. Let's get past the NBA loans. Abysmal 13 to 15 million. I've seen another article that tracked that down to 12. All right, so it's not even going to make that. Yeah, it's hoping that it'll perform significantly better in the overseas market. Okay, so I told my story about being in the theater this time. I always tell you, when I'm in a movie theater here in Mexico and the place is sold out, I tell you, because it's like, okay, this is going to do well internationally. All right, you can feel it. Gladiator, Wicked, Deadpool, and Wolverine. You could just feel the energy, people wanting to go see these films on a Tuesday or Wednesday when they open up a day or two before they open up in the States. Talking early afternoon shows. And then you walk into the theater and it's like, oh, this doesn't feel good. When you're buying your tickets and it's like, okay, there's 4 other seats that have been taken. Everything else is empty. Okay. You sit down, you're like, okay, this theater holds, I don't know, let's just say 100, 70, let's say 100, just for argument's sake. This theater holds 100 people. There's only 8 to 12 people that have bought tickets to see this show, to see this movie, which is what happened with Kraven. And then about 45 minutes into the movie, half of them, because it was one group, decided to stand up, walk out, and not come back. What was concerning is those were all, they appeared to be late teens males, like 16 to 19-year-old males. So it's like the target audience for Kraven the Hunter got up and walked out of the movie. I was like, ooh, that's bad. Ooh, that's really bad. So this movie's not going to do well. It's not really that great of a movie. I'm sitting here trying to. I took a walk today, and I said to myself, I saw a movie a couple of days ago. It was Kraven the Hunter. My mind has totally just dumped it. The way it dumped The Crow. Just get that out of just dump it, right? The way it dumped, I don't know, Alien Romulus. Just dump it, right? Disappointment, dump it. Madam Web. Honestly, if you told me I had a choice between watching Madam Web or watching Kraven the Hunter again, I'd choose Madam Web because at least it's so stupid. I can laugh at how stupid it is. All right? It's just bad. Bad. Narrative, bad. Script, bad. Acting, a lot of the acting was not that good. So that's how I felt about that. But let's look at the box office. Figuring we have a moment here. Yeah, Google Chrome. Oh, speaking of box office. Oh, in case you wanted to know, Rachel Zegler, everybody's favorite Snow White. There she is. There she is, center stage right there. Rachel, who hates more than half the country and wishes no peace on you because you voted for somebody she didn't like. She's just a piece of shit. And I continue. Anybody who just wishes hate and no peace and anger on people for who they voted for, I'll tell you right now, if you watch my show, if you watch my videos and you voted for somebody that I didn't vote for, I don't care. That's your right. God bless America. Thank you. Thank you for voting. Even if you voted for somebody I don't agree with, thank you for voting. That's how this works. Thank you for voting. The contest is over. Let's get along and let's move forward. No. People like this, pieces of shit like this, post things that they don't need our business, right? Well, guess what, Rachel? Your business is hurting. Y2K, I think it's produced by Jonah Hill and all that. And starring, Alicia Silverstone's in this, Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit. I mean, there's a draw. So Y2K, the horror movie based off of the Y2K phenomenon of, everything's going to come to a crashing end because of this Y2K virus or whatever they called it. I lived through it. It wasn't anything, folks. Nothing happened. Anyways, this movie was $15 million budget, made just $2 million since December 6th release. It seems that Miss Zegler has gotten her wish. Nobody, when she said, I don't need your business, don't click on my stuff, don't go on my social media, don't watch my movies. Okay, no problem, Miss Zegler. No problem. I'll spend my money. I was glad to say I spent my money on Kraven than you. They're both crap movies probably, but at least I watched a movie where I don't think the guy on screen hates my guts because I might have voted for someone you didn't like. Or he didn't like. So director Kyle Mooney. Evan Winter was another one of the writers. Jaden Martell. I have to remember, I saw this guy right here, the heavyset kid. I say that because I'm a heavyset man. Heavyset kid. That's I forgot what his name was in Deadpool 2. That's the kid from Deadpool 2. The prison wallet kid. That kid. Very fun. But yeah, they had quite the cast here. We had Fred Durst, Julian Dennison. That's him. Rachel. There we go. Everybody's favorite hater. The Kid Leroy. Don't know who that is, but a lot of people out there probably do. Alicia Silverstone. There we go. Blast from the past. All right. Yeah, none of these other people I know. None. Anyways, $2 million. Good job. Good job, Rachel. $2 million. Doesn't even make the top 200 of the year. Look, this is the world box offices today. Cutoff is $6 million. Okay? Cutoff is $6 million. But what's cool, all right, we got Inside Out 2, Deadpool. Okay, everything's sitting pretty, but Moana 2 is pulled into that number 5 spot and sitting pretty at 610. I don't know if it's going to make that. It might make that 700 spot. Mufasa or the Lion King prequel, whatever you want to call it, that's going to cannibalize a little bit of it. That's going to come out and take some money, take some cash, definitely. That'll definitely take some cash away from it, but I still think it's going to have a strong performance. People seem to like that movie, want to see it again. I mean, with Kraven out there, that's not a family film, so families wanting to go see a movie in the weekend, they're going to be like, we can see Moana 2 again, we can see Wicked again, or we could see Kraven the Hunter. They're going to go see Moana 2, so I think it's still going to have some money going. Still, my darling here, I thought I was going to hate this movie, Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. I posted a short walking into the movie going, I just didn't think it, I haven't had good experiences with current Godzilla movies, right? I thought this is going to be but I really enjoyed it. I thought, this is fun. It's just popcorn fun. Turn my brain off and popcorn fun, not talk down to me. It's just like, we're going to be stupid and we're going to be stupid together. Like, great, let's do it. I love that it's still number 6. Venom, Last Dance. Wicked pulled into number 9 here. That's starting to slow down. It's starting to slow down because more of its box office is coming from 71% is coming domestically from the United States. That international box office, again, it's ringing in a little bit late. It shows up a little bit late, a couple days late, but it's still not as strong. If you look at the international box office, Inside Out 2, Deadpool, these all had very, very strong international box office numbers. Venom, that's what got it to where it got, right? Needed to get Kung Fu Panda. But these $1 billion babies, like 1 through 3, you need that strong international box office. So if Wicked doesn't get that back or reclaim that, then it's not going to make it's a success. Don't get me wrong. I ain't being like, Wicked's a failure. No, I'm not. It's not a failure. You see my review, thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Thoroughly enjoyed the movie. And now every time a short runs on my YouTube channel or like my YouTube feed, or, I'm just scrolling through shorts, just kind of taking a break, just chilling. And here comes somebody doing Defying Gravity song. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I like that song. And I'm like, oh wait, what am I doing? I like that song. Oh crap, I like that song. Anyways, so I enjoyed it. I had fun with the movie. So I'm glad it's successful. I really am. but I don't think it's going to do. People, even I said, I thought, wow, this movie could be $1 billion thing, and I don't think it's going to make $1 billion. We'll see what Wicked Part 2 does, and what kind of audience that brings in. And again, Gladiator 2, again, people shitting all over Gladiator 2. I was just watching, I love The Critical Drinker. I was watching his 2024. He called it one of his big disappointments. And I get where he's coming from. That's his opinion. I loved the film. I really thought it was good. Yes, it's a retread of the original story, but most sequels are. If that's the case, then you hate all sequels. Inside Out 2. She gets emotions. She has to deal with them. Okay, good. Deadpool and Wolverine. He gets put in a situation. He's got to save the world. Okay, good. You know, I mean, Moana 2. I'm sure I never saw Moana 1. I haven't seen Moana 2 yet. I'm sure it's the same story. Which brings up something interesting. If you look at okay, we've done this before. Number one, let's start at number one. Sequel. Number two, sequel. Not necessarily a sequel, but not an original film. It's based off of a musical, based off of a book. So we'll call that the one original. And then number 10, sequel. 9 out of the 10 are sequels. And then we still keep going. Sequel. I don't know what ends with us. All right. So now you've got 14 out of the top 15 grossing films of the year were sequels. So 2024 was not a very original year. It's going to end up being a successful year, I think, box office wise. I think you can probably get about almost $8.5 billion box office domestically. Total. Nothing to sneeze at. So, but definitely interesting to that. But I don't think anything's going to come out. I don't see the Lion King sequel hitting that hard. Nosferatu hasn't come out here yet, so I can't say nothing about that. Excuse me. About that film. I can't think of anything that's going to come out and hit hard these last couple weeks of December. I think that's pretty much it. I think it's wrapped up, baby. I think that's it. And so, yeah, I'm doing my top 5 favorite films of the year. I'm working on a video. Top 5 favorite films of the year. And top 5, I think, disappointments, or the 5 that I think top 5 worst. And I'm going to throw in probably my top 1 or 2 disappointments. And kind of go from there. Still taking shape, but still kind of making those lists. It's actually hard, for me to say, oh, this has been my favorite. That's been the worst, because, and I'm including television shows. I think entertainment in general, not just films. There's been a lot of bad stuff. 2023 had a lot of bad stuff. 2024 had a lot of bad stuff. I don't know about 2025. I think you have to wait until, I think 2025 is going to have a couple of good things. You're coming out of you're going to have stuff because of the strikes happen with the writers and the actors, and now things are cranking up, and you'll start to see things maybe in mid to late 2025, get back to normal production and all that. And hopefully, there's a cultural shift going on. I think 2026, you're going to see, yeah. Oh, Captain America 4. Yeah, I'm not happy with Captain America 4. No. Nope. And here's my thing. Listen, I think Sam Wilson is a great, I think Anthony Mackie, I've always enjoyed things that he's done. I think he was great in Pain and Gain. I think he's great as the Falcon. I made a comment on this. I did a video on this a while back. He's not Captain America. I think you, when you think of Captain America, and it just doesn't, it didn't feel, they surely didn't do it the right way with the series, that they did, introducing him as Captain. That did him no favors, but he doesn't pull off the role. He doesn't pull off the role. And one, I don't think he's given the material. I think Marvel's writing and material have lacked a lot. I think the idea that they're going, they're saying now it's stripped down and it's more grounded like Winter Soldier. And I'm like, but the Red Hulk is in it. So is it? I'm like, now they got the Red Hulk in it. I'm like, okay, that's kind of out of nowhere. So no, I'm not really crazy with the New World direction. I think I think what they could have done is, well, first of all, they couldn't even land on a title. They couldn't really land on a story. They've had to reshoot it 2 or 3 times. That doesn't bode well for anybody or anything in a movie. It just doesn't. It means that there was never a clear idea of where they were going in the first place. It doesn't know what they wanted the movie to be in the first place, and they have no idea where they wanted it to end up. And if they're going to end up at Secret Wars, and they're going to end up at Avengers Doomsday or whatever they're going to call it, they've got to have a real clear path with characters like the Red Hulk. They got a real clear path with the Winter Soldier, but no one is excited. No one is excited. You've seen all the test screenings. No one's excited about Anthony Mackie being Captain America. It's because Captain America was Chris Evans. And that character is a certain type of, you can't just pick them and choose them and replace them. I made this analogy. I said, it's like when I was a kid and my hamster died. I loved my hamster, but I wasn't around when the hamster died. So my parents just replaced it with another hamster from the store and said, it's the same hamster. Go ahead. It's fine. It's not the same hamster. I mean, it's a great hamster, but I loved my hamster. And I think when you have a character like Captain America, and people are so in love with that character and so in love with the person who portrayed it the way they portrayed it, to try and pass that off is just, it's not going to work. You got to do it better than just, here's a shield and here's a Marvel TV show that was really not that well received, and for a lot of reasons. I didn't like it because I thought it was just honestly too preachy. I don't mind social messaging as long as it's got something to do with the story and it develops the story, develops the character. When it's just there to be there because you want to put it front and center, then that's where then you lose then your focus isn't on the story anymore. It's on message, and that's no longer an entertaining thing to watch for me. And I think that's what happened, and that's where people soured on Anthony Mackie and that Captain America character. It's what soured me. So I don't think it's going in the right direction. I don't think it's going to hit the notes it's going to want. And I think it's being released in February says a lot. It's already been delayed a year, but even just rushing it out, saying we're going to release it in February, no one goes to the theaters in February. And everybody knows that you put things in the theaters in February that you just don't care about people watching. Madam Web, Argyle. Things get dumped. And they have Giancarlo, right? What a great actor. Can play a great villain, and they have him, and they're going to waste him. They have Harrison Ford, and it's going to be a waste because they decided to rush through. Again, the whole direction with it, I just don't agree with. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I sit down and I'm like, wow, this is just like Winter Soldier, and I enjoy it. Just because Winter Soldier is one of my top 3 favorite Marvel films of all time. Love Winter Soldier. And if it pulls off something like Winter Soldier and has the same effect, story, emotion, character arc, narrative arc, development, all that, so well done. If it has all that, great. I'll give it its flowers. I just don't see it happening right now. I just see too many messes come from it right now in pre-production and post-production and during production. And again, all test audiences that have seen it have just crapped all over it. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, they're bringing Chris Evans back for Captain America, though. I know that, for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. They're going to bring him back. Even if it's just for 1 or 2 movies, they're going to bring him back. They're going to bring him back the whole band. What may be interesting is they're going to bring back, I saw this theory, they may bring back like the Dark Avengers or whatever they want to call them. Evil. Instead of Iron Man, you got Doctor Doom, and instead of Thor, you got Evil Thor. Instead of Captain America, Evil Captain America, and all that. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Yeah, it's hard to be positive about a film with that doesn't have any direction to it. And then the trailers I've seen have not gotten me that excited about it. It doesn't make me go, yeah, I want to see that film. The Red Hulk doesn't get me excited. I love it. I have the first 10 issues of Red Hulk and all the variants of the covers. I love Red Hulk. Like a great character, right? Not excited about it. So that's my idea. That's what I think. Anyways, thank you for the question. All right. Oh, yeah. Now, we talked entertainment. Listen, you guys know I like to talk a little news here because some things just getting ridiculous now. Things are getting silly. Think, listen, I lived in Texas. I'm going to tell you exactly what we would do in Texas. Now, New Jersey says, here's what you shouldn't do about those unidentified drones over New Jersey. You shouldn't shoot them. This is why unidentified drones aren't seen massively in Texas. We would shoot them. Ask any Texan. If they saw an unidentified swarm of drones coming over their house, there'll be bullets in the air. Plain and simple. Welcome. God bless Texas. All right. That's the difference, right? In Massachusetts and New Jersey and upper Northeast where I come from, believe me, I know the people there. They look up and go, oh, please don't hurt me. In Texas, we go, guess it's on. Load them up. They would be like, open the safe. Let's go. That's what they're going to do. But these drones, all right, these things could be a million different. This is not some invasion. All right. This is what I personally think. It's not an invasion. It's not a bunch of Chinese people with drones over suburban neighborhoods. Why? I know they're all over. And then a lot of these are being debunked as these are really actually airplanes. Now, people say these drones are the size of like a refrigerator. And the reason I pulled this thing up here, that's a Reaper drone. The reason I know that's a Reaper drone is one day I was driving to work in South Houston, driving down I-45 towards Friendswood, League City, that area. There's an Air Force base right around the corner. And there's also NASA. NASA's there, right there in the corner. And I saw one of these sons of bitches in the air, flying low. And for a moment, I thought to myself, what's going on, boys? What are we up to today? Who are we looking for today? Now, hopefully it was just a test or just coming in for a landing or maintenance or whatnot. I don't know. I didn't hear nothing else about it afterwards. These things are massive. These drones in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, they're DJI drones, they're toys, they're hobbyists, they're whatever right now. These are not military drones. That's a military drone. This Reaper, that's a military drone. Okay? You would know from sight, because these things are so low in the air that they're seeing them, if it's a military drone. Okay, so when I see these pictures, I'm thinking, these are the things I used to sell in Apple. We used to sell drones all the time. We'd have them out, the big DJIs just kind of floating around. We have, so now my wife, lover, had an interesting theory. And let me entertain this conspiracy theory. The reason why they're not telling you about this stuff, obviously they know what these are. There's not going to be swarms of anything in the area of any state without the U.S. government going, that's what that is. We have things that can detect incoming missiles that arc into space and come back in the atmosphere, okay? The drones are not evading our detection. Trust me. So, anyways, the drones are not, they're a test. According to my wife, they're a test. She thinks they're, and you know what she says is like, she's from a deep state country, Mexico, right? She understands the deep state. She understands the surveillance state. She understands when governments decide to turn on the people because she's seen it firsthand. God knows she has. And so when she says something like, it's a test, like a test for what? They're testing out their new surveillance. This is either Homeland Security or some sort of other government entity. This is Homeland. They're testing out their new program using drones. And that's what you're seeing. And yes, they may be violating laws and FAA laws and FCC laws, but they don't care. They're testing their program. This is all in the. That's the conspiracy. It's all in the nascent stages. It's a police state program in case one day the shit goes down. There's an EMP attack or whatever, rioting or whatever, right? Worst case scenario, it's part of their let's get shit back under order, martial law kind of thing. That's what I think. And that's what my wife thinks. It makes sense because, listen, the other thing it could be is this big, all of a sudden in like a week, you're going to have like some television show or candy bar or something. I don't know. Somebody's selling something. And it's this marketing campaign. They're like, we're the drone people, and this is why we're doing it, and we're all going to light up in the sky in the name of the something. It's something stupid. This is not China. China isn't doing this. All right. China does things that is destructive. I'll give you an idea what China does. All right. Right now, China has military ships and freighters all over the world, right? But mostly they're freighters, which are owned by the CCP. So they're CCP, they're government ships. What they're doing in the Norwegian seas to screw with Europe and to screw with those countries in Northern Europe is what they'll do is while they'll figure out where the underwater cables are, the massive telecommunications cables are. They have those mapped out, right? I mean, you got to know where those are so you don't damage them. What they do is when they're coming to them, they drop anchor. They drag their anchor along at full speed. So the anchor cuts through the cables and breaks their communication in Europe. That's what China does. China is not going to be like, oh, send drones over. It's like a little game. No. The spy balloon, yes, China. That was Gad. That was something different. That's something we do to them. They do to us. It's been back and forth. Okay. These drones, what do they care? I always, I used to have people in Apple. They'd come in and be like, I need you to replace my phone. Crazy people, usually middle-aged white women. They come in, I need you to replace my phone. Why? It's been hacked. They're listening to me. I'm like, okay. So I'd ask a question. I go, well, oh. That's my son calling me. So obvious. Sorry about that. We always have these problems. I should get a phone just for this. But yes, he's probably on his way to the airport. Anyways, I always ask these people. These people come in and say, my phone's been hacked, blah, 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 all that, right? And I would ask them, so what's so special about you? Literally. Like, why would somebody hack your phone? Like, what do you do? I'm unemployed. Okay. I'm divorced. I live, are you a spy? Are you a government agent? Do you have information? No, they're just after me. Why are they after you? Your phone's not hacked. All right. Again, the same question I'd ask these people in New Jersey who are standing in their backyard going, they're spying on me. Why would they spy on you? Do they want to see what you're cooking on your barbecue? No, it's a test. Like when my wife said it, I said, okay, that makes sense. That I can buy. Or it's just a giant marketing thing, or it's a giant prank. One or the other. It's not an invasion. It's not an invasion, folks. China's not doing that. Russia's not. Russia doesn't have the money to do that. They're not wasting money. They're so quagmired in the Ukraine. They ain't wasting. It's not Iran. It's not. If it is, so help me God, if it is, I'll be the first person to get on and say I was wrong. But it's not. There's going to be perfectly, and you're never going to know what these are. You get the people coming out demanding, we need to know what these are, and blah, 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 blah. And guess what? There was a confidential report given to some members of Congress, right, about this, and we don't know what's in it. We don't know what that report is. You haven't heard much from those members of Congress. Probably because the report said, it's us. We're testing shit out right now. That's what it is. So, drones in the air. Folks, we're not that important. People living in New Jersey, listen, I never stood in my backyard in Texas and said to myself, I'm so important, someone's spying on me. Because I'm not. I'm really not. So the drones are the phenomenon. It's just the story of the day, story of the week. Yeah, here we go. Fury grows as U.S. politics demands. This is about mysterious drones. I'm telling you. That is not a military drone. Military drones don't have lights on them like that. A lot of the times, they don't have lights. Anyways, nice big truck out there. All right. A military spy drone is not going to light up like that and say, here I am. People freaking out. like the Red Scare all over again. If you know what the Red Scare is, good for you. You're old enough or you've done your history homework. Anyways, bam. All right, last things last. Here we go. My boy, Mr. RFK. Let's talk healthcare. All right, a lot of people ask me questions about healthcare down here. It's not bad. Yes, it is socialized medicine, but if you can afford not to be in socialized medicine, you don't have to be. And then it's really the best healthcare I've ever had in my life. All right. I don't have to be on socialized medicine where I have to go wait in line at the hospitals, wait months. All right. If you're on socialized medicine, if you're a citizen, you're on socialized medicine, you don't have the money to pay for stuff like that, and you're going to the government. Yes, I have a family member right now. They have a tumor. They know where the tumor is. They know all about it. They have to wait like months for surgery. And the doctors aren't the best doctors because the best doctors go to the private hospitals because you get paid more. Yeah, it's a mess. Socialized medicine is a mess when done the way that it's done here. And probably done the way it's done when it's done in Canada or when it's done in Europe. I can't speak to all of it. I just know what I've seen here. But then you have the private hospitals, which my US dollars convert into pesos, so I can afford to go there. They're not very expensive at all when to do that, actually. It's actually, without insurance, going to see a doctor in this country costs me what I would pay with insurance in the United States. If that makes sense. Okay, so a $20 copay in the United States, all right? Because I had United Healthcare Cadillac coverage, best coverage you could pay, paying like $450 a month for me and my family, healthcare wise, all right? $20 to go see my general practitioner if I had a cold or something, right? Here, $20 just to walk into a private hospital and see a doctor for whatever reason I might have. No insurance. Just here's my 400 pesos. All right. You need medicine? Yeah, you can get a prescription written, or you can just walk into the pharmacy and say, this is what I want, unless it's not like a class 1 narcotic. You want penicillin? Fine. Walk. I don't need to go to see. If I have a flu, and it's my wife tells me this story all the time, and it's hilarious because I always picture it weirdly. I don't know why. You got the flu? You need penicillin? You're not allergic to penicillin? You need penicillin? Fine. Okay, well, you don't need to go to a doctor. You got the flu. So what you do is you walk up the street. You walk a block that way. You walk into the pharmacy, and you ask for a hypodermic needle filled with penicillin. And then you can either hire a nurse to inject it or just go home and inject it in your ass. Just stick it right in your buttocks. Boom. Penicillin. $5. That's it. No prescription. Nothing. It's funny, you can always tell what the most popular medicines are. So I walk into these pharmacies. And I always want to take a video when I'm in the pharmacy, but I'm like, it's a private business. And I think the pharmacy get a little nervous. Like, what's this guy taking a video for? I'll try to sneak one later. But you walk up to the counter where they keep the stuff that they want to keep and the stuff, Oh yeah, insulin, by the way, you just get you get that off the counter like you're getting a bottle of Tylenol. You need a shot of insulin? Boom, cheap, boom, no problem. No problem. Same company that makes it there, makes it here, same company. So, no problem. So you go there and so I get up to the counter. Now, first of all, the counter at the pharmacy is loaded with candy bars and cookies and all sorts of stuff. It's like, okay, so we got our health priorities straight. And I take a certain couple of different medicines each day required for my condition. But I'm like looking at the stuff that's advertised that you can just say, I want a box of that, a box of this, a box of that, right? It's all like different brands of Cialis and Viagra. Not only the brand names that you get that you pay, but it's also really cheap. Like, it's just like, it must be a thing here in Mexico where it's like, they just have walls of the stuff, right? They have walls of whatever, name whatever drug you want that you're on, besides like Oxy or something like that, some narcotic, right? You just walk into the pharmacy and ask for it. And it's cheap, really cheap. It's just amazing how much, even with insurance, it's in the United States, it's cheaper for me to get my drugs here. And the name brands is the same drug. Same drug. It's ridiculous what you pay in the United States for prescription medicine. There's no reason for it. Because if they can sell it that cheap here, they can sell it that cheap there. It costs more to ship it, right? Of course, most of the pills get made in China anyway, so I don't know. Medicine here couldn't be easier. Couldn't be easier. Couldn't be cheaper. Couldn't be cheaper. But this guy, Robert Kennedy Jr., I know people got problems with him, but Big Pharma is a problem. I'll tell you that right now. Because what happens is, at one point, all right, so when I first got my condition, and I know I'm being very cryptic about it, no one wants to hear about exactly what it is, but when I first got my condition, they gave me a pill. And they said, okay, this pill is going to help you with this, but it's going to have this side effect that's going to cause this. So you're going to take this pill over here for this. Okay, but then my condition also caused something else. Some pill for this, but that condition is going to cause this and this. So you got to take a pill for this and this. At one point in time, no lie, no shit, I was taking, I think it was 14 pills a day. 14 different medicines a day. There's something wrong with that because I'm not that sick. Like I'm sick, but I'm not that sick, right? I have a condition, but I'm not that. So when you see Robert Kennedy and he's like, Big Pharma's a problem. Yeah, Big Pharma's the problem. Because it's just designed to get you on more and more medication, more and more pills. That's what I like about Mexico. They don't want to give me medicine. If they don't have to give me medicine, they want to find, the doctors here want to find every single way not to have to put me on a pill. Whether it's trying to figure out an exercise regime, a diet regime, natural remedies, something like that. The doctors are free to try. The last thing a doctor wants to do is put me on pills. Because they know that pills lead to more pills, and it's just, then you just don't know what's going on. But at one point in time, I was literally on 14 different pills. And I'm like, and I felt terrible. And this one pill they had me on, it absolutely just, the side effects, it was, I would take the pill, right? And if I ate a meal, it was too much for my body to handle. And I would pass out. I would literally just go, okay, I ate dinner, so I'm going to go sit in the chair in the living room because I know what's going to happen. And I can fight it. I can drink coffee. I can whatever. Doesn't matter. Literally just fall asleep. Just boom. And then my wife would try to my kids would try to wake me up. They can't wake me up. And that was terrible. And so then they take this pill to help with that. I'm like, no, I don't want any more pills. Stop making me take pills. Now I take the necessary ones, the ones that are like, okay, these are the necessary ones, very minimal amount. But my condition got worse as the more and more pills they put me on. And then as I got off of pills, I got better and better and better. I'm not great. I'm not fine, but I'm better. And I'm continually hopefully going to get better and better with this thing as it goes. But yeah, he's Robert Kennedy. You can call him a nut job all you want, but he's right. Big Pharma is the problem. The difference down here, listen, if you got the money to pay for it, and you don't need a lot of money to pay for it, you get some great healthcare, best healthcare I've ever had. And I've been to Europe, I've been to Canada, I've been to the United States, best healthcare I've ever had. Best doctors I ever had. It's just amazing how they are down here. Like I said, up in the United States, to see a doctor, what are your symptoms? Is this. Okay, we think you have this, take this pill, see you later. That's not, nope. I'm talking Houston, big medicine, big medical, Methodist. They treat presidents there. No. So I hope he gets it turned around because, again, bottom line, the United States, they put you on too much medicine and they make you pay too much for it. Bottom line. So that's my political statement of the day. This guy's absolutely, I can absolutely get behind this dude and what he's doing. So, but with that, boom. Woo! Well, we went long with that one. My coffee got cold. I don't like cold coffee. I like hot coffee. Even if it's 90 degrees out, I need my coffee hot. I don't know. I never got into the iced coffee thing. If I'm going to drink a cold drink for caffeine and sugar, just give me a Coke. I don't like the taste of coffee when it's cold. And this one got cold. Ew, ah, I don't see how. Ugh. Cold coffee, people. I never understand you. Never will understand you. But yeah, so it's been interesting living down here and dealing with all that stuff. It's been interesting seeing. It's just interesting watching the world. I mean, most of the entertainment I take in, most of the commentary and YouTube stuff I take in, is from the United States. It's interesting, and listen, I'm open. I'm conservative. I look at things on a conservative viewpoint, but there's different types of conservatives, just like there's different kind of liberals, right? There's progressives, and then there's traditional Democratic liberals. Then there's conservatives that are just like they're insulated and they don't look beyond the borders or the impact of it. And they think that the only thing that matters is within their borders, and that whatever happens outside the borders doesn't really affect you because you should only focus. No, that's not. I'm a conservative that goes, okay, yeah, I want to put America first, but to do that, sometimes you have to go do some shit you might not want to do because otherwise it's going to get out of control. And you see that. You see that. So it's interesting watching politics and watching culture move when you're down here in a different country. The questions you get asked, way different, unexpected questions about your country and unexpected conversations that get started. Being an American is such a unique thing. It really is. It's such a unique thing. And until you live as an American outside of America for a while, and I'm talking a while, I'm not talking, hey, you took a 2-week vacation. That's not what it is. I'm talking for a few years. The way in which other people view the United States in both a good and a bad way are so magnanimous. So magnanimous. And I'll give you an example. Does anybody in the United States watching this care who is going to be elected president of Germany? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe 0.00001% of the population of the United States that are German immigrants that are become American citizens care about who's going to become the next German president, right? That's it. The whole world cares who's going to be the next United States president. The whole world cared. The whole world was watching. And there's a reason, because they look at that country and they say it's the highest standard of achievement that you can get as a human in civilization, economic wise, opportunity wise. It's the highest achievement. That's why, the old saying goes, there aren't people trying to leave the United States for a better life. In the numbers that people are trying to get into the United States for a better life. Do I have a better life in Mexico? Yeah, I have a great life. Yeah. It's a different way of living, right? But that's a rare thing for people to leave the United States to go to a different country to experience a different life, different way of culture, different way of living. And so you see that, and you have to understand that that's the high point. Side point. The low point is that it's capable of doing so much damage through just apathy or damage through not caring about collateral damage, collateral consequences. And that happens. So it's just there's two extremes. And so that's how the world looks at it. They think the United States could solve all the world's problems in a minute. They think Donald Trump's going to come into office, and hopefully he does, do what he said he's going to do and end the wars. And people believe that he can just be sworn in, make a couple phone calls and say, and hopefully that's what he does. And hopefully it works. Make a couple phone calls and say, Israel, Ukraine, Russia, Iran, everybody stop screwing around. Everybody back down. Let's all go back to normal. Let's all reset. And hopefully that's what happens. And the rest of the world believes, normal people, the rest of normal people in the world believe that's what he can do. And that's the golden standard of looking at the United States from outside. But they also believe that he can make a phone call and jack shit up real quick. just because he can. Just because, you know what, he's decided it's just easier to just get rid of one side. Pick a side and get rid of it. And would he be wrong for doing that? I don't know. We could debate that. Maybe he would be, maybe he wouldn't be. But he could do that. And that's the all-powerfulness of that, of looking at the United States from the outside, is that no matter what, Mexico, the president of Mexico talked tough a few weeks ago. Then she met, she had a phone call with Trump. And I'm pretty sure that when she came out after that phone call, she's like, yeah, we had a good conversation. Yeah. Basically, you translate that as like, oh, okay, I'm playing with a different animal here. Not just President Trump, which is a whole different person to try and negotiate with, because the guy doesn't negotiate in a political sense. The guy negotiates like a businessman. He don't give a shit about your country or what you're going to get, as long as America gets what they need. She came out, she was singing a different tune. She wasn't so headstrong. She wasn't so insultive. She wasn't so bravado. She got the new president of Mexico, who's only been there for 3 months, first woman president of Mexico ever. She got a lesson in, oh, okay, the difference between academically being a professor and having all these degrees and thinking this is how politics should work and national pride and all this. And like, oh, that's the United States. I forgot. They could do whatever they want and get away with it. What are you going to do? If they say, we want you to put an end to something or else we're going to do it for you, it's a quick lesson they learn, real quick. So anyways, it's real interesting learning or observing. And that's why I like to talk about politics. Not only do I like politics in general, but I like talking about politics because it's such a different viewpoint when you live it from outside the world, when you live it from outside the borders within the rest of the world. You see things that are just different. You see the world react differently than what you would normally. Because I watch American news. I watch Fox and CNN and MSNBC, and I listen to the certain podcasts and things like that, and just catch snippets here and there. Read newspaper articles from the Times and the Herald and the Post and all that, and the Wall Street Journal. It's just like, again, it's what you read as an American and see as an American is very different than what you read and see because of the attitudes. Because again, the internal attitude, if you're not aware as an American that lives in America all the time, of just exactly how the country's perceived in those two huge magnanimous ways. The capacity for great, good and opportunity, and the capacity to say, we're going to bully you. And that makes a lot of countries afraid. And it makes them, that's what it is. So definitely interesting. And I can't wait for my son to get it because we're going to talk a lot of politics because he is just like me. He just got his degree in international relations. I have my master's in political science, and we love talking about this stuff. And so we're probably going to start, I think we're going to do 2 shows. I like doing Late Night with the Gringo, but I think I'm going to keep Late Night with the Gringo. I'm going to separate the content. I'm going to do mostly entertainment, film, movies, things like that. And I will do an afternoon show of politics. So late night for me is just having fun, talking about talking about entertainment and talking about video games and stuff like that. And then maybe my son and I will do an afternoon show where we address politics and things like that. Because there's a lot of stuff that goes on around the world that you would find, I think most people would find interesting if they knew about it. They just never know about it. They just never know about it because there's only so much news you can take in, and only so much news you care about too as well, right? Not many people, take the time to learn about that type of stuff. So I think that's what we're going to try and do, and we'll see if it works out. It'd be fun. But again, I think he was calling me. The reason why I freaked out and said, "Oh, my phone," he was calling me because I'm pretty sure he's on his way to the airport. And I'm in about a 12 to 13 hour countdown before I have him here with me. And that's awesome. I can't wait. I love him. I really do. So, but we'll see. All right. With that, I'm going to close it up and probably give him a call back and be like, what the hell did you want? Did you see me streaming? Why aren't you watching your father stream? Do you not like me streaming? Are you not a fan? So basically, I'm going to ream him out. It'll be fun for me. But with that, I'm still your Electric Gringo from south of the border. Had a lot of fun talking about what we talked about. I will catch you all later. Later this weekend, we'll stream some videos. Salud, huevo. And for those of you that celebrate it, Feliz Navidad. All right, we out.